welcome back to The Grind. In this video, we are going to open a bunch of Draconic chests. Now, I am not going to open my gold chests at this time because I am planning to wait for a fortification event to open them. Especially with the Draconic chests, I do not find myself needing any PvP resources, so the gold chests are much better used in fortification in order to get more timers as well as other resources to help level up the base. Now, if you are more of a free-to-play player and you tend to struggle with PvP events, you usually will want to open your gold chest during a PvP event so you can continue to get inner fires and energy packs to allow you to score well in PvP events. But let's get started on these 600 Draconic chests and we'll see how we do. In fact, let me just back out real quick to the season. I did get about 4,000 sigils. Just over, I spent a little bit, but just over 4,000 sigils from the just over 3,000 bronze chests that I opened. I spared you all from that because that was a long time of not much excitement. So we're going to see how we do. We're basically at 4,000 sigils, and we're going to see how we do with these 600 Draconic chests. And there are going to be a lot of other amazing drops in here as well, but we're not going to keep track too much of it. But we do know that I'm going to end up with a ton of egg tokens. I believe I opened like 400 before the season ended, and I ended up with about 500,000 egg tokens before I started opening these Draconic chests. So definitely we'll compare and see how much of those we end up with. But as we discussed last time, like some of these mythic drops are pretty amazing, but they're few and far between. Usually you can go several pulls without them. So if you're only going to buy like 50 Draconic chests, you might miss a lot of really good drops. So you really got to have, there's a nice 1,000 sigil one. You really got to have a lot to use in order to make sure you get a good average on these chests. So, excuse me. A very good plan for this season. And I do want to highlight this, pay attention to this. In my season structure video, I got confused because they did not show the layout with the festive dragon, and I attributed the Draconic chests to the end of the resurrection branch, which is incorrect. I do apologize for that, but there will be a festive dragon released again. Whoa, look at that drop. I'm going to take a screenshot of that one. That is a very pretty looking drop with those multiple mythic and legendary drops, and they kind of border the whole thing quite nicely, actually. Anyways, as I was saying, the festive will come out later in the season, and it will have the repeatable Draconic chests at the end of the branch again. They have not confirmed whether or not it will still be the same 4 Draconic chests for 500 sigils, or if they're going to change that conversion rate, but I do hope they leave it the same. Until we know for sure if it's going to be the same or not, I would highly recommend planning to get the festive branch in order to get a bonus off of these Draconic chests. Now, that means that's going to be different. It's going to look different for each player. And so the initial plan I would go for is during the discount period, put as much of your sigils as you get into those discount lines. Once the discount period ends, or once you get all of the 2 discount branches, then at that point, I would go and just save up all your sigils. Save them up until we know what is happening with the festive and the Draconic chest conversion. Because this is a very, very efficient and effective and valuable way to get a ton of not only PvP resources, but also base building resources with the timers that you get. Not only the timers, which are huge, like twice as much as you would get out of gold chests for the value, but you also get a ton of breeding tokens as well as mythic fragments. So you end up with a ton of breeding resources, a ton of timers for fortification, which timers is what most people struggle with. They end up having enough elemental embers, but not enough timers. And then a ton of PvP resources. Not only that, but you also get hammers, which is quite nice to get for defense. And they do reasonable for sigils. They are basically the same for sigils if you are paying rubies through super sigil chests in order to get them from the redemption at the end of the festive, but otherwise not as good. Now, so that is why I highly recommend saving so that you can invest in the festive branch if they continue to do the 500 sigils to be converted into, oh, we froze up here. For the 500 sigils to be converted into the 4 Draconic chests. If they change the rate, then it will not quite be as good of a deal, and it will really depend on what they change it to as to whether or not I continue to recommend this. But I definitely think it is an important thing to plan ahead for, so that you end up, man, that's a pretty good looking drop too. Look at that, 200 mythic fragments, 300 inner fires. Like, it's ridiculous what you can get from these if you can get a large chunk of these Draconic chests, which you could get at the end of the season. So if you, let's say, get half of this discount dragon, and then you end up finishing it off later on in the season, you're not going to be able to complete another whole line, so it's not really that valuable to get a half branch of, say, a rider or another dragon, unless you need one at a specific tier. Then it would be much more beneficial to invest all your remaining sigils for that season into the festive, so that you can end up getting these repeatable Draconic chests at the end of the season as well, or with whatever extra sigils you may have. Now, I somehow ended up with, I accidentally spent 1 Draconic chest, so now I'm at an uneven number here. So we're going to do individuals to get that remaining 10, which is going to thankfully get us that extra bonus chest there. And then we'll take a look at how many sigils we ended up with. Now, I have been having issues with like lag and having stuff undone, so that's why I still have 19 reward milestones to claim. I've done it 3 times already, and so I really hope I don't have to open all these chests again. But that is it for all the Draconic chests. Definitely. And then we got about, so what was that? 16,000 sigils from those 600 Draconic chests, which will be very nice. That will definitely complete one of the branches, and then I'll work towards completing the other branch as well. I will probably have to dip into a little bit of my gold chests in order to complete it during the discount period. We'll have to see how well I score in these 2 events, but we'll see. I would really like, man, Zelenoth just looks so cool. I really do want to end up getting Zelenoth this season if it works out. And then I'm looking forward to Icaros. And I will be putting out some gameplay videos soon with the new season dragons. It will take me some time because I have been really busy, but I'll try to get some initial gameplay out as early as I can. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed living vicariously through me and opening up tons of those Draconic chests. I hope you were able to get some for yourself, and if not, hopefully you'll be able to get them this season. So good luck with this event, and I'll see you in the next video.